Welcome back to Poetry and Police. My name is Evan Blake, ex-detective corporal of police. I served the Jamaica Constabulary Force for many years. Very experienced detective, I would say. Because the next topic as I'm about to talk about is as a result of experience. That is my stand on the topic that I'm about to talk about. As a result of my experience as a policeman, as a result of my experience as a detective. But before I dig into the matter or start to talk about the matter, first of all, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that bell. Subscribe. Share the channel so everybody can have an experience of my words, my thoughts, my opinions as I share them on a day-to-day basis. Special shout out to my subscribers. Special shout out to all the good citizens of Jamaica, whether you're living in Jamaica, and like I always say, whether you're living abroad. Special shout out to all the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, a stalwart of an organization. That organization have made me a man, made me into a person that I am today. All the police officers out there right now who are on foot patrol, on mobile patrol, community relation police officers. Remember, if you're a community relation police officer, there's a difference between criminal and law-abiding citizens. There's a difference between gunmen and law-abiding citizens. I'm not expecting to go out there and hug any gunmen after they have killed people. I'm expecting you to go out there and work with the good citizens of any community that you're a part of. As a community relation police, that doesn't mean you're a coward, and that does not mean you're not a crime fighter. You are placed in your position as the link between the citizenship or a link between the community in which you work and the police department to ensure that a relationship is bonded. Our good relationship keeps on going between the police and the members of the community, and also to ensure that the relationship gets better and people start believing in the police. So if you're a community police, big up to you. But remember this, do not hug any gunmen or do not facilitate any gunmen, because when it comes to criminals, this channel says no to criminals. No to these boys in Jamaica who feels they can just take up a gun and kill people freely like they are in the movies. It would appear as if they have watched too much movies. So, like I always say, I believe in preemptive strike, and I believe that in any nations, that the criminal element of any nation should be suppressed. For them to run away. A policeman once told me, a senior detective once told me that boy who are terrorists to society must not live anywhere. They must not be comfortable anywhere. If they live in a boardhouse, body down. They live in a concrete house, lick it down. Not literally, but figuratively. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because as police officers, we don't deal with violence. We deal with the law, and we deal with the amount of force that is necessary to control any given situation at any time. So, big up to the truck drivers. I'm a truck driver, so big up all truck drivers, all the taxi operators in Jamaica, all the bus drivers. Please drive carefully and stop killing off the people of Jamaica. Be careful. So, let me fling across the point that I am about to talk about today. Because if you realize I'm smiling, because I have so much things to talk about, and I hope my subscribe, my listeners, you get involved and, share your comments. Criticize as much as you want to. Whether it's for or against me, I accept it, because I'm not here for people just to listen to me alone. I'm here for people to put their pieces together, tell me where I'm wrong, correct me where I'm wrong, and add to my stories, add to my points, add to my opinion, because this is my opinion, and anybody can add their opinion to my channel, because all of us want to see Jamaica be a better place in the long run. So no, today is a serious discussion, this, I'm a police officer, I'm an ex-detective, and when I see certain breaches of Constitution, I always talk about breaches of Constitution, because I believe in the Constitution of any nation. And I believe that Constitution outweighs any little rules or regulations, because Constitution is law made by the books. In the books, Constitution is law, and of such Constitution, the constitutional rights of any citizens must not be breached on any time possible. I believe in that to the T. No, I don't know who came down with this. It can't be a police officer. It couldn't be a detective. And it could not be anybody who understands policing or understands the judge's role and understand how to deal with a nation. Because I don't know how we came about this, or how they came about this, whosoever came up with this kind of solution, which I would even say it's stupid, but it's a breach of the Constitution of Jamaica. It's also a breach of human rights too, in my book. So now let's talk about it. Now, in recent time, I've been hearing about this new bail act. And surprisingly, the bail act includes persons who are detained. Because remember, when you are detained by a police officer, you are detained for a certain amount of time, 24 to 72 hours, or 48 hours. It was 48 hours in my days. I don't know if it has changed. If it has changed, then correct me. All right? But as a police officer, when you hold a person on suspicion for whatever act you might, under whichever act you might hold that person on suspicion, then you have a certain time to hold that person in custody. And if that person is not charged by that time, then that person has to be released. And if you keep that person over that time, then you have breached the person's constitutional rights and you can be sued as a policeman. Right? So you have to watch the time. And a man can be held in custody too for more than 24 hours if he's scheduled for identification parades. Because you know, identification parade take a little time. So you have to schedule the parade, and witnesses have to be drafted up, and the site for the identification parade has to be dealt with, and a sergeant or above the rank of a sergeant who is supposed to operate or conduct the parade has to be found and ready. So a man can be held in custody for more than 24 hours if an identification parade is to be done. Those are the cases I know of. Other than that, if a man is held in custody for over the period of time, then his attorney, if he has one, can take out what is called a writ of habeas corpus for his client to be released. And you know what can happen after that? The police officer can be sued for holding a person in custody for more than the allotted time under the Constitution. All right? Cool? Now, they have this new rule now under the bail act that if a man is a suspect, you know, so he's not charged, he's not an accused. If a man is a suspect and he's in custody, then under the new bail act, that man can be brought to court and is bailed. Jesus. No, listen to me, people. If a man is a suspect, you know, not an accused, he can be brought to court and be bailed. Bail for what? Bail for what? I don't know where these people come up with these foolish rules or regulation, and whosoever came up with this. Whosoever came up with this is embarrassing the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and is embarrassing the laws of Jamaica, and is embarrassing the Constitution of Jamaica. To even come up, to even think about this, to even dream about this, much less to put it to light. The first question I will ask for the creator of this whatever, this madness, because it must be madness. How can you bail a man that was not charged in the first place? That is the biggest question I want to ask you. That is the biggest question. Jamaican people, listen. It would appear as if our leaders are going crazy, or if our law writers are going crazy, are getting mad, and they can't find solutions to solving crime in the country. They turn to madness, because this is most a case of severe madness. Because how can you set a man for bail that is not charged for any offense whatsoever? Because being a suspect is not an offense. It's not an offense. The man is not charged. So how bail even I don't understand. How bail even come in there, sir? No, listen to me, man. Whosoever come up with this rule, you need to take it back. And for the powers that be to even consider this madness is something to be, is nothing short of a shame and disgrace. A man or woman, any person in Jamaica that is a suspect cannot be bailed. It is impossible. Because once a bail ban arises, then an offense has to be there. And to be a suspect is not an offense. Am I clear on that? And whosoever made this rule, they must have understood. Or, no, I wouldn't say that. I can't say that they must have understood the meaning of the whole thing. No, they could not have understood the mechanics of arrest, understand investigation, or even understand the judge's rule in the first place, or even understand the Constitution. Look like I'm mad somebody come up with all of these things. But let me tell you something. My stand on the whole thing, it's a downright disgrace, and I do not support it, not even 0%. Listen me, I do not support it, not even 0%. On my channel, I make it clear every day that I don't support criminals and I don't support corruption, right? But I also I do not support foolishness, and I do not support breaches of the Constitution, right? And this is one of the largest breaches of Constitution ever. Because how can you put a man in custody, say he's a suspect, then you're going to offer this man bail as a suspect? The man is not charged, so why bail is even considered? And this is just showing that it is showing and exposing the Jamaica Constabulary Force to the Jamaican people as if the members of the Jamaican Constabulary detectives then no have no sense, or we do not possess the skills to carry out investigations. Because listen, let me tell you something clearly. When I was a policeman working, and I've seen this on many occasions where you hear say Tom Strokes wanted for 50,000 murder. One bag of hearsay. And police are supposed to deal with hearsay. The only cases where hearsay is used is rape cases, where a female might say to somebody, the first person she sees after she was raped, she tell that person that, I was raped. That is the only case where hearsay is acceptable. Nothing else. No, people here say Tom Strokes killed John Tom down the road. And said Tom Strokes wanted, and police follow too. For people who should believe in proof and beyond a shadow of a doubt and evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt, we seem to follow the bandwagon of stupidity sometimes. Because when you hear say John Tom wanted to 5 murder, when John Tom come in custody, there's not even one warrant for John Tom, And there's not even one statement on file say John Tom killed nobody. So how John Tom wanted? So that is the foolishness. Here is the foolishness. And this is what is happening here too. Because you say a man is a suspect. Because if you had enough evidence, sufficient evidence, then the man wouldn't be a suspect. The man would have been an accused. So what we need to do in Jamaica nowadays is cut this foolishness. And the police need to carry out their investigation. And if you don't look for John Tom, you must have a warrant for John Tom. Because don't look for a man if you don't have a warrant for him. I can understand when you say you are looking for a person because you have interest in questioning that person about an offense. And whenever that person is held or is carried in by his attorney, then you can do a question and answer under the judge's rule of that man with his attorney present. Because if a man attorney is not present and you question that man without his attorney present, is a breach of his constitutional rights again. You understand? As police officers, we have to follow the rule of law. And as leaders, we have to follow the rule of law. We can't just jump the gun and talk about put man in a custody and offer them bail. No, listen, people, I want you to look at this, and see how stupid our leaders are nowadays, or how stupid some people are nowadays who claim that they're in charge and who are making the rules and regulations as we go on. Now, Jamaica is plagued by crime and violence, and the best that they can come up with is to put people in custody And for reason not to release them is to bring them before the court and give them bail. That is what I can understand. Listen, my man. Investigations must be done and done properly. And when a man is held by the police actually go and search for John Tom. And John Tom is held. John Tom must be charged because you look for him, though. Don't look for your man if you don't have a warrant for him, brother. I used to hear that every day when I was working. John Tom, he never frightened me none. When I was a young police, I used to go look for John Tom. But when I was a senior detective, no, I understood the whole mechanics of arrest, understood the whole mechanics of the system. I used to say, where is the warrant? I'm not going to look for a man without a warrant. And I would advise you detectives out there too, for police officers, don't look for a man unless you see warrant, man. If you get information that a man commits an offense, or a man is involved in an offense, carry to investigation, get your warrant. If there's not sufficient evidence to get a warrant, then the man can be brought in for questioning, where under the judge's rule, you can do a question and answer. And if after questioning the man, because most time the lawyer say don't say nothing, because the man have a right to remain silent. Because a part of his right, as a detective, you have to tell him that he has a right to remain silent. So we have just made one of the biggest mistakes for 2022 with this new bail act. And the Jamaica for Justice now, you have given the Jamaica for Justice ammunition now to attack the Jamaica Constabulary Force and attack the lawmakers in Jamaica. And they have all right to do that. But at the same time, listen, the Jamaica for Justice are such hypocritical people. Because let me explain something to you people, and this is why I'm saying this now. I'm not a full supporter of the Jamaica for Justice. I'm not a supporter of these human rights groups in Jamaica. Because they align themselves with criminals, and they are fostering criminals in Jamaica. And as a result of that, like I've said to you before on my channel, I don't support any form of corruption or any form of criminality or any form of dishonesty. So listen this now. Jamaica for Justice, let me tell you something. When you say you are human rights supposed to cover every citizen in Jamaica. It's so quick, you don't jump out and talk about this case here, even though, yes, it is wrong. But up until none, I have never heard any member of the human rights group came out and talk about the treatment of police officers by Indicom. Remember this, a police officer is, even though he's a police officer and serving the crown and working for the state, he's also a citizen of Jamaica. And the Constitution also covers every policeman. Once you're a citizen in Jamaica, the Constitution covers you. No. Whenever a policeman is involved in a shooting or a fatal shooting or any form of shooting and the Indicom is investigating the incident, do you see how impartial they operate? Because if you are investigating a policeman for a fatal shooting and you are investigating a murder, because that is what Indicom is investigating nowadays, every police shooting is being investigated with the intent to charge this policeman for murder or shooting or assault. So therefore, if you are investigating me, say for example, you are investigating me, Detective Corporal Blake, for a fatal shooting, possibly you might want, because it is your intention to charge me for murder. And I am a suspect. I am now a suspect. If I am a suspect, I now have the right to remain silent. But at the same time, under the Indicom Act, it would appear as if a policeman is taken away from the Constitution. He's no longer covered under the Constitution with his right to remain silent as a suspect. Under the judge's rule, he doesn't have the right. So the Indicom is saying that when it comes to investigating police, we don't have any right. And if you choose to remain silent, then they say you have failed to cooperate with investigation and you can be charged forthwith. You see how this thing go, people? People, you see how them thing go? And these are some of the things that the Police Federation need to address. As police officers, we are citizens of Jamaica also, and the Constitution goes for us too. So therefore, if I am a suspect, I'm a police officer, and you are investigating a murder with the intent of charging me, and you upon informing me that I am a suspect, under the judge's rule, you need to caution me not to say anything. Even if I'm a police officer, you need to caution me not to say anything, because anything I say can be used against me in court. So now I need to get my attorney, and you're not supposed to talk to me without my attorney. Just like any regular Jamaican citizen out there, if you hold on to a man out there for a murder or a shooting, any offense whatsoever, no police no have no right to question a man without his attorney or without a representation. Because whatever information you get from that man without his attorney is a breach of his constitutional rights. And guess what now? As a detective, you mess up the case. Because nothing what him tell you is admissible, so is supposed to be admissible in court, because his constitutional rights have been breached. You understand? That's how it go. And I strongly believe that the same under the same constitution covers police officers, that INDICOM should not question a policeman without their attorney or a representative. So any question you ask a policeman INDICOM without their attorney, any information that you get is supposed to be inadmissible in court, because a policeman is also a citizen of Jamaica and is also covered under the Constitution. The last time I checked, no rule or regulation can outweigh the Constitution, and that is what is happening in Jamaica right now with the new INDICOM Act. Everybody just feel that they can jump up and make rules and regulation and make act and come up with act this and act this and act that. Too much acting are going on in Jamaica. That is the thing, that too much acting are going on in Jamaica. Everybody's acting and nobody's really doing anything real. Because I can't believe that our lawmakers or our leaders have really sat down. Really sat down, you know. It look like they take days to, you know, maybe a whole year to, you know, and create and had some addition to the Bail Act. And this is the best thing they could come up with. To charge people, to bail people who are not charged. Jesus. When you talk about bail, charge have to come first. Charge have to come first. Charge has to come first. So we don't need to roll back that and take it off of the books, because it is plain stupidity. And it's a breach of everybody in Jamaica constitutional rights. Not because we are the leaders of a country and not because we have the power, we can't just take away people's constitutional rights like that. The Constitution is set there for a reason. Every citizen in Jamaica has rights, even though I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you're walking around killing people, you have given up your right. If you're walking around and killing people, you have given up your rights. You hear me? If you're walking around and killing people, you have given up your rights. Because let me tell you something. I believe that every murderer in Jamaica, every known murderer in Jamaica, should be classified as terrorist. And there should not be any form of negotiation with terrorists. Terrorists shouldn't have any rights. We need to build a place like Guantanamo Bay and take them to. Trust me. That is what we need to do. Because the good citizens of Jamaica are suffering at the hands of these criminals in Jamaica. And at this suffering and at this murder rate that we have in Jamaica, you are going to tell me that the best thing that the country can do, the best thing that the writers can do, the best thing that the greats can do is come down with a Bail Act which is completely stupidity, which is completely taking out people's constitutional rights. Listen, my man, before I won't even say anything more, because the people in Jamaica who have sense, or even international people hear about these things in other police entities A lot of lawmakers in other countries supposed to be laughing at Jamaica with like I don't even supposed to be taking Jamaica right now for a clown, patsy, a buffoon. For come down with a bail act like this. Let me tell you something. Take it back. Take it back. There are better ways to fight crime. We have good detectives. And like the leader of the Jamaica Young Police Channel have said, when the detectives were taken off the street, because you know they took the detectives off the streets, and detectives must not patrol, and detectives must not carry M16 rifles. And let me tell you something, people of Jamaica, let me tell you this. When I am not going to disrespect anybody, you know, right? But this is the truth and the plain truth and nothing else but the truth. When it comes to detective, when it comes to uniform police, it's when you have one detective patrol go out, it is far more effective than 10 uniform patrols. Me I tell you that. When 2 detectives go out in a one car, go do inquiries and patrol. Because guess what? Number 1, it have to make sense. Number 2, we know who we are looking for. Number 3, we not stop until we find who we are looking for. When a uniform patrol go, most uniform patrol go, them not care about nothing. They stay on the outskirts. Then just drive around until their time is up. Them go home. Them just go through the motion. You might have a few. Big up Dread. Big up Dread. One of the best patrol police me ever know. Uniform patrol police. Big up Dread. I tell you that. When that police go out, he goes out with meaning. He goes out like a detective. And you see how people like those, you know, them never draw for them as detectives, you know. Although, even though the detective in the Jamaica Constabulary Force is so underrated nowadays and so unpromoted. So you see what they do? They destroy the detectives in their bid of destroying Jamaica, in their bid of handing over Jamaica to criminals. They destroy the detectives. Because guess what? If you don't destroy the detectives, you know, then their dreams could never come true of handing over Jamaica to the criminals. The first thing you have to do is take the detectives out of the way. So that was the first thing they did, was mash up the CID. That's the first thing they did. Not because I'm smiling. This is a serious issue. They destroyed the CIB in order to turn over the country to criminals. Because when a detective patrol goes out, it's 100% work. Uniform patrol go most 80% out of 100 is just going through the motion. I'm telling you that. It's just going through the motion. So listen to me. Take back that bail act, you know. Don't cause any more embarrassment for the people of Jamaica or the Jamaica Constabulary Force or the laws in Jamaica. Because it is plain stupidity. No wonder why Jamaica all over you like smoke. Jamaica for Justice is all over you guys like smoke. But at the same time, like I've said, Jamaica for Justice is a very hypocritical organization and a criminal organization too. Because when it comes to the police and fighting crime, they do not support the police 1%. Because police officers are being violated. Police officers' constitutional rights are being violated by the income and nobody's saying anything about it. What? Are we not human? I guess we are robots. I guess we are robots because the human rights group doesn't seem to classify police officers as human beings. Look, you see what appears as if we are robots because our constitutional rights are being breached and they are not saying anything about it. But as soon as the people who are creating mayhem in the society, not saying every Jamaican is creating mayhem in society, you know what I'm talking about. Soon as the people who are creating mayhem in the society have been attacked in any form of way, you jump to their rescue. But you have never jumped to the police rescue, and you have never jumped to the rescue of the people who are being the victims of gruesome murders and rapes and robberies in Jamaica. You have never jumped to that. You have never jumped to that. You have never jumped to that. And that is one of the reasons why I strongly believe that these human rights groups are not for law-abiding citizens, they are for the criminals. Because they only support the criminals. They have never had anything to say about the gruesome murder of children and women and old people in Jamaica. They have never have anything to say about them. It would appear as if law-abiding citizens, under the eyes of income, under the eyes of the human rights, especially Jamaica for Justice, has no rights in Jamaica. It would appear as if the good people in Jamaica are not entitled to live a free and prosperous life in Jamaica. Only the terrorist. Only the terrorist. So I have to smile again. Let me tell you something. I will say it again. Take back that foolish bail act. It is a breach in every crevice and corner in Jamaica under the Constitution. So you need to remove that from the books. Whatever, or whosoever do it, him should be fired. They should be fired. Trust me. If that is the option that you are taking to help solve the crime situation in Jamaica, then guess what? You have just failed. Couple more murder added to the list right now while you are working and bail act. For bail people who not charge. The question is being asked it already, Tell me before we come off of the YouTube right now. Tell me, what is the offense? Because bail ban have offense on it, Bail ban has an offense. And court date too. So, what is going to be the offense on the bail ban? And is this person going to go to court? For what? Mr. Lawson, I guess he has some whole heap of case come here now. Mr. Lawson is supposed to glad. Listen, this is not the way to fight crime in Jamaica. We cannot fight crime in Jamaica, and we cannot get Jamaica in a better position by breaching people's constitutional rights. No, it won't work that way. So we need to go back to the drawing board and come up with something different. Come up with something different. Start surveillance. Start use drones like I've said before. See people, catch people in the act. Then you get warrant. Most wanted no work. People are wanted on paper. Man fi wanted on paper. So if you say Tom Strokes wanted, show me the warrant. Or show me a statement that a witness says Tom Stroke do this. Or show me a video depicting Tom Stroke committing an offense. Or tell me that you see Tom Stroke commit an offense in front of you. And in the end, you still have to give me a statement too. Because that is the proof. Because when you're creating a file and a suspect, for any offense whatsoever, you have to have a statement on the file, then the warrant on the file. So do not tell me that a man is wanted unless you have a statement or a video. Something. So you can have a warrant. Because if a man is wanted, really wanted, there should be a warrant. And if a man is wanted and taken in custody, then he's not a suspect anymore. He's not a suspect. He won't be a suspect for long because he would be charged. And you can't bail a man who has not been charged, who have not been charged for anything. What offense are you going to put on the bail ban? Thanks for watching my video. Please, we need to talk about this. Police officers, get involved in this. Senior police officers, senior detectives, please get involved in this. Tell me what you think about this. Give me your raw opinion about this. Me wrong. But me know me not wrong. Me know me right. You understand? Me know a gospel this. You understand? I know a foolishness that whosoever made that bail ban just did. Understood? So right now, let me hear from you guys. Alright? Thanks for watching again. And as usual, subscribe, man. Share the video. Hit on that bell. You see me I say? So you can get all the videos so I uploaded them. You understand? Big up the Jamaica Young Police channel. Lone Son, big up yourself. You did a good video the other day. I must say thumbs up to that video. Alright? Thumbs up.